All words in English can be divided into two large classes. The content words belong to the open class. It is called open because new words can be added to this class and are added to it all the time. The function words belong to the closed class. No new words can be added here. The open class includes such parts of speech as nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. These words contribute to the main content of any utterance. We can also create new words in this group. For example, we can call the time we spend surfing the web because we're delaying work on something we have to do but don't really want to, webcrastination. A task that requires an extraordinary amount of effort or dedication can be called supertask. And a text message that contains too many emojis may deserve the descriptor emojiful. The closed class includes such parts of speech as determiners, pronouns, prepositions, particles, conjunctions, and introductions. Their job is to connect other words to each other and show relationships between them. However, new words cannot be easily added to this class. Just take pronouns as an example. When the second person singular pronoun thou went out of use by the early 17th century, it was replaced by the plural pronoun you. Even today, speakers of standard English use the pronoun you to refer both to one person and multiple people. Many dialects of English across the world have attempted to invent a plural you, such as y'all in the south of the United States, yins in Pennsylvania, you guys on the west coast of the US, you lot in the UK, or yina in the Bahamas. But none of these words have made it into the standard English into any of these places. We're first going to examine the 4 content parts of speech and 1 functional part of speech, because they are going to serve as the foundation for the study of words and utterances in English in our future weeks. Let's start with nouns. In elementary school, you probably learned that a noun is a person, place, or thing. Indeed, nouns are naming words. In addition to referring to people, places, and things, however, they also refer to concepts and ideas. In the sentence, the audience gasped in amazement. The noun audience refers not to a person but to a group of people. And amazement is an abstract emotion, not a thing or a person. Nouns with their modifiers can serve as either subjects or objects of different kinds in a sentence. In the sentence above, the noun phrase the audience is the subject, and the noun amazement is the object of the preposition in. But meaning is not the most important criterion for the identification of nouns. We mainly know that the word is a noun if it can come after the word the and add a plural s to it. Let's look at this nonsense sentence containing words that are not real words in English. The Geriots were club softing along the spection. We know that Geriots is a noun because it is plural. The Geriots were club softing. We can probably say one Geriot was club softing. We also know that the word spection is also a noun, and although it is not inflected for plurality, it probably could be. We could say along the spections. Now, we don't know what those mean because they're not really words, but it sounds like they could be words we just don't know. And we know they're nouns. In languages other than English, for example, German, Spanish, French, Russian, Hungarian, Turkish, and so on, nouns can also show inflection for grammatical gender, feminine, masculine, or neuter. Another category they can inflect for is case. Case refers to the type of ending a noun may get, based on its role in a sentence. Nouns are usually either count or non-count. Count nouns can be counted and used in plural, like 2 cars. Non-count nouns cannot be counted and they cannot be used in plural. We can say a lot of traffic, but we cannot say 3 traffics. Now let's talk about verbs. Verbs are parts of speech that refer to actions, events, and states of being. But like with nouns, we know what a verb is, mainly not by its meaning, but by its inflections. Verbs can inflect for tense, a category that indicates when the action takes place. In the sentence, Abe yells loudly, the word yells indicates present tense. In the sentence, Abe yelled loudly, the word yelled indicates past tense. Verbs also inflect for aspect. Aspect indicates how an action extends over time. The progressive aspect indicates an action in progress. The perfect aspect indicates an action that happens before something else. And the combination of perfect and progressive indicates an action that begins before something else and then continues. Verbs can also indicate the person and their endings. Person is a grammatical category indicating who is doing the action of the verb. First person refers to the speaker, second person to the listener, and third person to somebody other than the speaker or the listener. In you yell loudly, the verb yell is not inflected, but the pronoun indicates second person. In Abe yells loudly, the S at the end of yells indicates third person singular. English verbs have lost a lot of their person inflections right around the 11th century. But person inflections have been retained in languages like French, Spanish, German, and so on. So if you speak any of those languages, examine the endings of the verbs that you would use in saying I yell, you yell, she yells, and so on. Now, adjectives and adverbs are so similar in many ways that many linguists consider them variants of the same category. But we will treat them as separate here. Adjectives refer to the properties and attributes of nouns, and adverbs refer to the time, place, or manner of actions expressed by verbs. Both adjectives and adverbs can be inflected with a degree of comparison. The comparative degree allows us to show a greater quality between two items, like in Barbara is a vainer person than anyone I know, and Cecily drives faster than she should. The superlative degree allows us to indicate the highest degree of quality. Barbara is the vainest person I know, and Cecily drives the fastest when she's in a hurry. Out of multiple function words listed on your screen, we're going to discuss only one for now, prepositions, because they're crucial to the construction of English sentences. Prepositions indicate relationships between components of a sentence. There are approximately 150 prepositions in English. It may seem like a lot, but considering that there are tens of thousands of nouns and tens of thousands of adjectives and tens of thousands of verbs, it is actually a very small number. Since prepositions are a closed class, we do not create new ones. The last preposition to be added to the English language was apropos. That was in the 1600s, and even then it wasn't created, but rather borrowed from French. In this sentence from ENG2200's novel, The Crown and the Heather, we can see prepositions in use, in, with, and several instances of of.